Good morning, my awesome group of friends and followers, and not forgetting the impeccable members of the channel. Thank you very much for your continued support as we head towards this destination of truth, transparency, moral courage and integrity, which is lacking in a little bit of today's society. Yes, it certainly is. Thank you for the messages. I wake up each morning and I check the messages that you send me. Yes, some are fantastic. Some are a little bit mental. I mean, some of the conspiracies coming in, I'm like, no. Yes, I get up in the morning and someone asked me, what do I talk about every morning? Well, it's quite simple, ladies and gentlemen. I get up in the morning, I make my coffee, I do the breakfast for the people that I love around me. And then I sit and I read your messages, I read your emails. I look at ones which are decent and ones which are just completely out of there. And I then go on and check the mainstream media and I look at certain stories and certain things that stick out. It's a simple platform, really, isn't it? It's a simple, I'm going to say solution. Simple format is the word I'm looking for. Yes. Woke up this morning to find out that Garth Brooks, remember the country singer? Garth Brooks, still about, by the way. Yes. He is now being investigated for alleged rape, actually. It's alleged that he did it to his wife's makeup artist. His wife's makeup, the woman that did the makeup for his wife that was hired. It's alleged. It's all coming out, isn't it? It's all coming out. Bit shocking. Honestly, it's a bit shocking. But where do these people get off? I mean, is it the fact that when you become super world-known famous and you have too much money, you think you can get away with things? It seems maybe that way. So whenever you become so famous and so sought after globally, I'll use that word globally, and you have so much money where you have everything you need. You have your fast cars, you have everything you need health-wise, you have a team around you, you have social media's been looked after, you have a house maybe in Hollywood, a house maybe in Texas, a house in Australia, and whenever you have so much, you just start to think, what else can I do then? Well, I could do that. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Or maybe it's because you become so famous that then people latch onto you and they want to take some of what you've worked hard for and they come up with allegations. But because the allegations are so severe and they could damage your reputation, people at the top go, how do we make this go away? Just throw a few million at them and it goes away. But then if it happens once or twice, it becomes the norm. And then it's like, oh, that happened before, didn't it? Yeah, do you remember he paid off this person or he paid off this person? And then it becomes the norm. And then that's when you're stuck. I honestly believe that whenever allegations come in, you should not pay it off. Fight it and clear your name. Because the minute you pay it off, you open up that avenue to it happening again and again. Just my opinion, anyway. And this morning there's fresh doubts, completely fresh doubts, thrown into the air about Gary Lineker's future at the British Biased Corporation, the BBC. Because last week it was said that they were trying to negotiate a new £1 million a year contract. But this week, there's rumours all around the BBC Corporation that the BBC have said, I think Gary's come to an end. In fact, an email was sent from a source to the mainstream media to say this email's going around, we think Gary's done. Well, do you know what? I don't like Gary's opinions in many ways, but I do understand that he's a fantastic football pundit. So to replace Gary as a football pundit that has so much knowledge is going to be a big shoes to fill just for football. But I don't think it's the end of Gary Lineker. It might be the end of Gary Lineker in the BBC, but I guarantee you in the next couple of weeks you're going to hear that Gary has signed a new contract with someone else, maybe a US network, maybe an Arabian network to talk about the league. I reckon Gary's got something in the pipeline because he wouldn't just walk away and he wouldn't just disappear. Anyway, it is what it is, people. Yeah. And the old Prime Minister Boris Johnson this morning is heading out. He thinks that the UK should have a referendum if we want to remain part of the European Court of Human Rights. I think that's a great idea. I do not believe we should be part of the European Court of Human Rights because the European Court of Human Rights gives the rights to terrorists, to evil people. It stops us deporting evil people from other countries that arrive on our shores. The European, all these boats that are arriving, the minute they hit our shores, they're covered by the European Court of Human Rights. We can't do anything. We struggle to deport people. We struggle to stop evil, because evil is protected under the European Court of Human Rights banner. And so are these, what I would call them, human rights lawyers. Now, we have noticed that these human rights lawyers, and I don't believe in it, and if I'm going to be honest, I don't believe in human rights. I really don't. I'm going to tell you why. Because human rights is something that we should all be entitled to. But human rights also gives prisoners, it also gives terrorists, it also gives the most heinous people in the planet. It gives them the same level as me. And I don't think that people that carry out heinous crimes deserve human rights. So I don't believe that human rights is something that should be for everyone. I think law-abiding citizens, in my opinion, law-abiding citizens should have human rights. But people that take life of other people do not deserve to have the same platform as good people. So that's my thought process on that. I know that will be cut and shared and put out in different places to suit other people's agendas, but I don't care. I'm just telling you my opinion on that, which is a shame. But there we go. And it's now been ruled, please, I know that there's people my age and older watch this channel, but check this here out. It's now been ruled that calling women birds in work, that bird over there, she's the one that did it, or that bird over there, she's the boss. If you're using the word bird as a terminology in a workplace, that is now being classed as sexual harassment. So, I find this shameful. It's always one way, isn't it? So I've took a little list here. So if men chatting amongst men can't say things like, it was the bird over there that did it, yep, she's the boss, or that bird over there. If it's being said and it's a derogatory term towards a female, it's now being logged as sexual harassment and you could lose your job. But on the other hand, I'd like to point out that if men in a workplace are hearing women say chap, fella, sunshine, handsome, stud, hunk, sugar, then maybe it's about time that men stood up for themselves and complained about sexual harassment from the way women talk to men in a workplace. Because you know what? There's two sides of a coin, ladies and gentlemen, and for some reason it's all one-way traffic at the minute, and I find it disgusting. Because I know, I've sat amongst women and I've heard them talk about men, and it's, yep, that chap, that fella, that hunk, that stud, handsome, this and that. So maybe it's about time we started to make them more accountable for their language towards men in the workplace, and maybe this will all go away. So there we go. If you're hearing it, get out your phone, record it and report them. That's it. It's about time we fought back. It's about time men fought back against this one-way sided society, as I call it. It's quite shocking. Wow. Right. Check this here out. Now, I have to do it. It's in today's media. It was in today's media right up until this week, really, wasn't it? That, here we go, I hate this subject. Meghan Markle was all over the media about bullying claims from staff. She's bullying here, there's proof here, there's bullying, she's a bad person to work for. She constantly is a narcissist, the way she behaves, blah, 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 blah. It's everywhere. It's globally, everyone's heard it. But then the story disappeared because the artist formerly known as Prince was let out from being a hostage, and he attended a tattoo parlor, and that story broke, but no one knew, yeah? Which I find strange. This was someone who has a security team looking after him. His security team arrived at the tattoo parlor, they went through a certain door, they checked it all out, and the story was leaked to the media by someone in Harry's office. Someone that looks after his press released that information. They let it slip. And what did that do? It took away the direction of people calling her a bully, the people talking about his possible tattoo. Cracking idea, wasn't it? Yep, change of direction, get the story changed. Well, there was a lady, and I had to write her name down, Ashley Hansen. Ashley Hansen was a female, hopefully still is, and she worked for Harry and Meghan's. She was their global global press secretary. It's just, she was the person that answered their emails. All right, that's it. But they give her a title to make her sound special. Well, she spoke out, didn't she, and said that no, it's wrong. They're wonderful people. She looks after people. They're wonderful people. She's a great boss. Which is a little bit strange to say that a week before you walk out of them, because Ashley Hansen has now quit as their global press secretary, and she wants to open up her own business. Isn't that weird? So she stood by Meghan to say, well, Meghan's the best boss ever, and then a week later she leaves to start her own company, and one of her clients in her new company is Meghan. So I can't help but feel that you give me a great, I'm leaving because you're a bad boss, but if you give me a great send-off and you stick up for me, then I'll become one of your clients and I'll help promote your new company. It's just my thought process. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. It's just my thought process on that whole idea. The sun's shining on that, isn't it? Can't really see the cover of that now. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so it's just how I'm thinking out loud. But there is one story this morning which stood out amongst every other story. And whenever I read it, I'm going to be honest, when I read it, I got a little bit emotional because I've seen the pictures of this girl. And it's probably the saddest story I've read in a long time. Ready? An 11-year-old girl who was kidnapped by ISIS. And she was sold in Iraq. She was sold in Iraq to a Palestinian ISIS member. And she was forced to be married at 11 years of age. Has been rescued by the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. She's now 21, and I found that shocking. I found that absolutely shocking. So she was kidnapped by Hamas at age 11 and she was sold in Iraq to a Palestinian ISIS member who then was trafficked into Gaza, where it's just, she's been rescued. She's 21 now, and it's shocking. What that young woman's been through is horrific. And if that doesn't send a message to why Israel wants to get rid of Hamas, then nothing will. I do stand by that. I wish that it would stop. I mean, innocent people are being murdered, mutilated on both sides, and it's not good. But Hamas do need stopped, and anyone that supports them is supporting terrorism, in my opinion. But there we go. Anyway, listen, I'm going to shoot on. I've got things to do this morning. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Thanks for supporting my channel. Thank you to those that have become members, and have a wonderful day. Stay safe.